my channel and the second episode of Keeping It Real. I am Sherry Canino, also known as Soulfully Wild on all social media platforms. I am also the author of my own personal memoir called The Silent Abuse, which you can find on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I also wrote a healing workbook journal that's, kind of dual purpose called Reclaiming Your Life. This is a step-by-step guide to healing after narcissistic abuse. This platform, we are going to be talking about all things narcissism and really keeping it real. So today we are going to talk about the silent treatment. And I can't imagine that if you've actually been with a narcissist that you've never been victim to this type of abuse. It is one of their go-to methods, but do you really understand what's underlying when they give us the silent treatment? Like, what's actually happening? Are they cognitively thinking like, hey, I'm going to give this person the silent treatment. I'm going to make them feel like they're irrelevant. I'm going to just, negate them in my life and act as if they don't matter. The truth of the matter is that's really not their thought process. That is how we feel about what they are going about doing. And your feelings are 100% valid. I am not here to negate anybody's feelings or to not say that this is an abuse, because it absolutely is, and I have been the victim of it myself. And I just want to share with you a little deeper insight, because when we understand, it helps us to heal, so then we don't realize that it has nothing to do with us. So I always would like to point you to Sam Vaktin's videos, because in my eyes, him and Dr. Romney, there's a few people out there, psychologists that really are amazing at explaining things better. I think sometimes I do a decent job, because when you've been through it and you understand it, then you can kind of regurgitate it in a more of a layman's terms and not so much in the terms that most psychiatrists or psychologists would use. So the silent treatment, what's happening in the narcissist's mind when they go silent and they ignore you, is they are going through this process. I think Sam Vaktin calls it like a narcissistic mortification. So when they get enough narcissistic injuries, what happens is they kind of fall apart. In layman's terms, that's what they do. So their false ego that they have running in their head, this film, if you will, that's telling them they're great, they're good, they're a good person, they do good things, in order for them to actually navigate life, completely falls apart. So when they get hit by too many reality truths, it could be from you, it could be from the outside, it could be from friends, other family members, the workplace. It really doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason, right? So it's just enough narcissistic injuries that cause this person to literally break down and fall apart. And what they do is they go inside, right? So they basically, in a sense, they go in hiding. So they go silent. They can't be in communication with other people, because they are in a process of going through this cycle where they're telling themselves to build themselves back up, to build back up that false ego, that they are okay, that they are good, that all these realities that they've just been hit with over a period of time, it could be one day, it could be 5 days, it could be 5 weeks. I mean, we don't really know. But they go through a process where they go inside internally and they basically self-supply by running this film over and over and over again to build themselves back up, so that they then start to feel like an okay person, then they can communicate again. Because when they feel so much guilt and shame about who they are, when their false self completely falls apart, they can't exist anymore, because they literally exist on this false self, on this false reality. So it has nothing to do with you, and their thought process is not about you. They're not thinking, let me go silent so I can treat this person like crap. Let me go silent so that I can hurt this person. They're literally, and I'm not saying that they're not angry, because if you're the person that created, you know, the narcissistic injury in them, they could be angry with you. But their thought process isn't like, I'm going to go silent to hurt the person. They may, if you let them know that that hurts you, like if they cognitively know, then they might be happy about it, right? But whether or not you let them know, whether or not it bothers you or not, really doesn't have anything to do with what they're doing. They're going to do it regardless. Has absolutely, I mean, they could be not in a relationship and get these narcissistic injuries at work or family members or friends, and they're gonna go through this phase. So it doesn't have anything to do with you personally. And I understand it feels personal. Like it is to us, it's very personal, because we're like, wait a minute, how dare you not acknowledge that I exist? How dare you not have a conversation? They literally can't. They're literally falling apart completely. And sometimes they emerge from these silent treatment things where they then are almost like they're a different person. You can see different like personality traits that they've created sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times. I actually saw this quite a bit with my ex. I didn't get a lot of silent treatment from my husband. I think I built him up enough, you know, on a daily basis, that even if he got a narcissistic injury from me, it wasn't enough for him to go silent and go within. And if he did, it might be like for a few hours. It never was anything big enough to go for like days. Now, my last narcissistic relationship, without a doubt, you know, he would go silent for sometimes hours, days, you know, I don't know, so much weeks. But I know that my husband would go weeks, months in his last relationship prior to me. So in his last marriage, because he used to tell me that his wife would give him the silent treatment, and now I know it wasn't her, it was him. And he said, you know, she would go for months not talking to me. And it's just crazy that they do these things, but that's really literally what is going on. And so we have to understand for ourselves, like, all these things have nothing to do with us. And it isn't, I'm not saying stay in the relationship because you understand. And I'm not saying that it's not abuse. It is. I mean, it is. Neglect is. But if you understand that it's not you, you can get on your healing journey, or you can hopefully leave the relationship if you're still in it, and be able to understand that healthy, normal relationships don't go through these crazy things. I mean, if you think about any friendships or any other relationships that you have, what goes on? Somebody gets upset, you have a conversation, and you move on. I mean, it doesn't last for days and weeks and hours and months. But normal people are not going through a mortification. You know, normal people do not have a false self-ego. Normal people can look at this situation and be like, yeah, you know, I shouldn't have said this. I'm sorry, whatever. Take accountability. The other person like, yeah, I know, and I reacted badly. I'm sorry. And then you move on. And most people don't want to have something hanging over them for days and weeks and months and years. That's what a narcissist does, because they just can't handle the injuries. And then, so when you look at a lot of narcissists who don't have relationships with their children, it's because when the child gets older, they're pointing out things that the parent that they've done to them that is hurting their feelings. And the parent is just constantly getting narcissistic injury after injury after injury, and they can't handle it. So they just like, and of course, they're very selfish, and like, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But understand that your worth and who you are has absolutely nothing to do with how their behavior is and what they're doing. You are absolutely worthy of love and happiness and abundance, and I implore you to find that. My workbook journal is out. You can find that on Amazon, on my website, Barnes and Nobles, and that will help you start on your healing journey to work through things that you have that are coming up to heal from narcissistic abuse. Another really cool project, because I did work for a amount of time as an art therapist, and I do a lot of art with my clients that I work with. But this project actually was one that years and years ago, a girlfriend of mine, Leslie Ackman, and I'm gonna leave her information below so you can follow her as well. She created this little project, I guess, if you will, called the I Am. And I think this is actually very perfectly fitting for people who have survived narcissistic abusive relationships, because we come out of the relationship not knowing who we are. And so what it does is these are like little tags, but you can just do them on little square sheets of paper too. And the idea is to kind of decorate them and just, color them up, color the backgrounds, and then use I am statements of things that you are, or things that you want to be, or that you want to have in your life. And then, you can print out little pictures of yourself to put them on the front of each card or each tag. And it's fun, even if it's not in a tag shape, you can punch holes in the top, and then you can have a little way to like hang it up, and you can flip it over and have a new one each day if you want, or whatever. That one doesn't have anything, but we did fronts and backs. And it's kind of fun because it's like a positive affirmation, but it also gives you like a little bit of art in it, which I am a big advocate of. Anything artsy, coloring, collage, anything, vision boards, all of that, because it really does help balance out the analytical side to us, and kind of helps us get out of our minds a little bit. And so we're not so focused on like trying to figure every little thing out. And when you come out of a narcissistic abusive relationship, that's kind of the mindset that we're in. Anyways, so thank you for being a part of my channel and a part of my life. You guys mean the world to me, and it's an honor to be here and be a part of your healing journey. And as always, you can always message me or leave comments below. I always answer every comment. So anything you need, I am here for you. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that really helps me a lot. I would be so appreciative. And as always, I will see you next time. Much love to you all.